Hi guys, Matt Rhodes. I hope you're well, and I'm just going to do a summary of some of the things going on in Strongman at the moment because it's been full of controversy, full of disappointing stories, but also positivity. So let's take a look at a few points. So starting off with official Strongman games, it's the Giants Live qualifier. The top three from there qualify for an opportunity to compete at Giants Live and therefore an opportunity to then go on to World's Strongest Man. It also hosts World's Strongest Woman. And this, unfortunately, was where things got very messy. People seemed to first come aware when Andrea Thompson, who came second by just 1 point, stormed off the podium during the presentations. As it transpired, the winner is a transsexual. To the best of my knowledge, nobody involved with the tournament had any idea about this. However, clearly, because of Angela's reaction, she must have known at some point during the contest that this was the case. And therefore, of course, it would have been best not to go ahead with the presentation until this was all sorted out. But the moment that OSG have done that, it's become this huge news story, and it's been picked up overnight by all kinds of influencers, Greg Doucette, and everywhere the headlines is Strongman, Strongwoman allows trans athletes to compete against and beat the women. The last thing the sport needed. The world number one for quite some time in Strongman in the men's division is Mitchell Hooper. All he did is go online and make a smutty joke.
Magnus wants to see my penis before I compete at World's Strongest Man. I know you do, Magnus.
It doesn't help. We need the most influential people in the sport to stand up and state what the case is, which to the best of my knowledge is that nobody knew. And I don't want to knock anybody for this because, for example, in Siberia, we have a women's division, Strongwoman. It's not as if we go and ask everybody to see what their gender is and proof of it. We just assume that people competing under each gender do qualify in those categories. However, the moment this all came out, of course, official Strongman Games needed to make a press release instantly, even just to say they're aware that there's a situation that has occurred and they're going to look into it further. But by remaining silent, it's just allowed everybody to go off, and it's very, very unfortunate for the sport. It's a touchy subject, I know. All I can say is that for the tournaments I run in Siberia, we will only have in the women's division women born as a woman. We can't allow trans athletes because, in my opinion, it gives them an unfair advantage over the women that are competing. But most notably, Jos Pataka, who's from Australia and has always done very well over there in Australia's Strongest Man, but he absolutely dominated. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how he does now that he's qualified to do a Giants Live event. There's no doubt there's a huge depth of talent in Australia's strength scene right now, and we need to tap into that more. A shout out to Jeffers from Canada, who came second, and Funiok, I think that's how you pronounce it, from Czech Republic, who came third. Those three guys qualify, so great effort from all three of those, and well done to everybody involved. It was also great to see JF Caron returning to Strongman in the Masters 40 plus class, where he came second, and of course the greatest of all time, Big Z, who won the Masters 50 plus class. There's still a lot of talk around the fact that Strongest Man on Earth didn't go to plan, and Brian said he's going to have to assess it going forward and all the uncertainty with that. Of course, it's a great shame. In my opinion, it's perhaps the best tournament in the world of Strongman right now, and we want it to continue.
This year, what I do have to say is our sponsorship was down significantly. Our in-person tickets were also down, and our live stream sales were down.
One of the major things Brian said, it was sponsorship was well down. When you look at this, I believe one of the major factors is Brian himself is no longer competing. He was a very attractive athlete to sponsors. He was someone bigger than just the sport itself, in the same way that Hafthor Bjornsson is. But of course, Hafthor hasn't competed there this year. He also didn't compete at many other tournaments, and it's a huge loss for the sport when you have these guys that have fans that are outside of just the world of Strongman. These are who attract sponsors in. And I think really that's the major challenge going forward for people like Brian and myself promoting shows where are the next big names? Where are the guys that sponsors that perhaps not even familiar with Strongman, but familiar with those individual athletes say, yeah, we want to get involved in that. Not people that make the headlines for all the wrong reasons, such as Mitchell Hooper right now. We need the Brian Shaws. We need the Hafthor Bjornssons of this world, and I'm looking to see where the next ones are coming, and I'm looking to see how we can get sponsorship in to support these guys, support the sport, and it's difficult right now. The Arnolds Strongman Classic have announced the lineup for 2026. It's a fantastic lineup. Every guy there definitely deserves a spot that they were given. Of course, then you can't have everybody, and there's big names missing. I just want to cover a few of those that I think are most notable. One is Evan Singleton, who won Strongest Man on Earth. Now, he got an injury competing in Eddie Hall's TV show type thing, tore his pec, and unfortunately he's not even going to make it back for the Arnolds. He's already missed Rogue. That's a big loss. It's a really big loss and a real shame. I also think that Tristan Hoath can count himself extremely unlucky. He won Canada's Strongest Man and he came 7th at Strongest Man on Earth, beating some of the guys here that are qualified for the Arnolds. Of course, that doesn't automatically mean that he should be assured a place, but I think he's done enough and proven enough in these very big competitions to have earned a place there. So if I was him, I would feel very unlucky about it. There's a big talking point about Martins Licis. Martins hasn't competed for a couple of years. Last time he did at the Arnolds, he didn't do very well. He came about 8th. Don't get me wrong, Martins is one of my favourite athletes of the last decade. He's a great, great athlete. But he's been given an automatic pass into the Arnolds with all this time off. Is that correct versus the guys that are competing all the time and perhaps have earned their way there? I don't know. But of course, some of this plays into social media and sponsorship and all these things I just talked about. Martins is a big name, a great character, and someone that is known outside of the sport too, which is important. So perhaps that plays into it. I have no issue at all with him being there, but I do feel sorry for some of these guys that haven't been invited there this time. The last person I feel like deserved the place there, and I do have some bias because I'm close to him, is Mateusz Kaliskowski. But last year he had an injury and decided to withdraw and give someone else an opportunity. That's a rare thing in Strongman. It's very easy to go there and collect your paycheck. But he decided to do the right thing. He decided that he had no chance of winning, so he would give someone else the opportunity. The 2 previous years before that, even not near his best, he's come in 2nd place at the Arnolds. He's got the highest win percentage of any athlete there, and I believe the most records. Mateusz at the Arnolds is always going to be one of the major threats. I think despite not having a great year, he did win at Siberian Power Show against athletes such as Thor and Strongman at 50% of his best. He's still podiumed at Europe's Strongest Man. I think he can count himself very unfortunate not to be invited there. Like I say, perhaps I have some bias, but you guys can let me know in the comments if you feel the same way about Mateusz in particular. Arnold's traditionally has events that we don't necessarily see elsewhere, such as the frame carry without straps, such as natural stone to shoulder. And that's why Mateusz, not near his best, is still a major threat at that competition in particular, because he's uniquely good at these types of events. Looking at the sport as a whole and how things changes, just a few years back we had WUS. That's completely gone. We didn't have Siberian Power Show. Now we're going from strength to strength. Strongest Man on Earth seemed to be the next big thing, and now it's in doubt. Things change so quickly, and it was interesting for me just to look at the Rogue lineup just 4 years ago of the top athletes in the world at that time. And look how different it is to now. And it tells you that how quickly things changes for promoters, for the sportsmen, and for the fans. And it's a reminder for us all in all those different positions to take nothing for granted and take these opportunities while they're there. And also for everybody to support each other. I would still like to see all of the competitions promoting each other's, just wishing them well. An Instagram post, the directors of the tournament talking about the other tournaments. It can only help each other in a sport that still needs to grow. So on to Siberian Power Show. As you know, last year's champion was Mateusz Kaliskowski. He beat Hafthor Bjornsson, and Thor beat David Chamay into 3rd place. We also had Jordan Osborne from Australia, who just came 2nd at the Magnusson Classic by 1 point. We had Fredrik Johansson, who came on the podium at the Shore Open. Seth Sukup from America, who came 5th at the Shore Open. Many top athletes. And next year, I'm only planning for it to get bigger and better. We're doubling our prize money. I still want to keep the ethos of giving deserving athletes who have not yet been given a chance at other big tournaments a chance at ours, whilst also bringing some of the very best athletes in the world to compete. Nothing is finalized yet, but I hope within the next month I can give you guys an athlete lineup announcement, and it should be the biggest and best yet. I'm also continuing what I want to do, which is bring well-known sportsmen from other sports into Strongman. Last year I brought Julius Maddox as a guest. I was hoping he was going to compete in an overhead event, but he wasn't quite ready for it. But anyway, we got him in the mix. This year, Colton is coming to the Siberian Power Show to attempt a 520 kilogram sumo deadlift. The South African sensation next year will return to Siberian Power Show to compete in the Strongman. And I am in talks, and I've had a phone call today with a very, very well-known sportsman that many of you are aware of, who it seems like we have an agreement now that he will come to Siberian Power Show this year. Again, I'm not sure exactly in what capacity, but with the intention of next year being in the Strongman lineup. They're popular people that bring in a whole new fan base of their own and can only help grow the sport, and are also worthy just on their strength alone. So yeah, a few talking points there, guys. Some things not so good, and some bright things to look forward to going forwards. It's always the way. But the main thing is everyone tries to get behind the sport and support it. If we all do that, we can only go in one direction, which is upwards. Oh, and I nearly forgot. Also at Siberian Power Show, we have confirmed JF Caron will return as our head referee, and Mateusz Kiliskowski will return to defend his Siberian Power Show title. So we're already on the right track. So thanks for watching, guys. Let me know, please, all of your opinions in the comments below. I always read them. I'm interested to know and get your feedback. There's a lot of things to talk about here, and I'll be back with another video very soon.